welcome to the program. I guess I want to ask you, why are you challenging your mentor? Good evening. Why are you challenging your hitherto close ally and mentor?
I don't think that Mr. Netanyahu will be able to unite the nation. I'm not sure if it is in his interest, and I'm sure I can do it.
And I just wanted to ask you, if it came to that, would you enter a coalition with Netanyahu and Likud?
No, I won't.
Jerusalem right now, and joining us, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. Mr. Netanyahu, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
It's great to have you as well.
Prime Minister Netanyahu is getting some good reviews for at least rolling out the vaccine, and actually is up there. I think it's like #1 in the world for vaccinating proportionately the population.
Huge failure managing this crisis. We are already in the third or the fourth closure already. Huge crisis in our economy, and I see that very simple things that the government should have done during this time, they failed doing so. So for us, we are not over yet. I think we should work in order to minimize the problems and the difficulties for our citizens during the coming months, and also for our state. But we are really in a deep crisis, and the problem is that the government was not able to stabilize the situation.
Watching from afar what you're doing to combat COVID, and the numbers are, it's just amazing what you're doing there. 88% of anyone over the age of 50 has already been vaccinated, and then some 75% of those aged at least 50 years old are already eligible for what you call a green pass. How are you getting to this point? What's your advice for the rest of the world? How do we do what you're doing?
Well, first of all, it's actually 90% of Israelis of all ages above 16 years have been jabbed at least once, and many of them twice, and the others are recovering. So we're how can I say this? We're rushing towards herd immunity. How did we do this? Quick decisions, a tremendous distribution system. I would say the mobilization of the citizenry. They understood that their health and their lives are dependent on it. So we're very proud of this. You know, Israel used to be known and is known as a startup nation. From today, it'll be also known as the vaccination nation. And we're also looking into the future, and we're saying, let Israel become now a world center for producing the vaccines of tomorrow. So vaccination nation, that's where we're going.
That's good. Mr. Prime Minister, since Israel is on the leading edge, and I know you're probably reluctant to give advice, but because so many lives depend on it, what would you say about what the United States is doing and how to fix it or improve it, because different states have different metrics and are doing different things?
The most important thing, two most important things, is get vaccinated as fast as you can and wear masks. Do that. You know, it's not a political question. This is what has to be done, and it should be done by everyone. Hey, it's your lives. You know, I think that we can get over COVID. We are getting over COVID, and I'm glad to see that many parts of America are already on that side. And
And as you know, the United Nations and many human rights groups, not to mention the Palestinians themselves, have complained bitterly that they are not getting a fair shake when it comes to vaccination.
Their residents. We would like to help, but we will be able to help only after taking care to our own citizens.
Well, I guess that's a pretty severe message to the Palestinians. Do you not think that actually, you know, you're all so close together that it is a pandemic?
I think it's a good message.
Bon.
Mr. Prime Minister, you went to school here for a while, so you're very familiar with Saturday Night Live, part of the culture. There is outrage in the American Jewish community in many pockets for this weekend update joke, so-called joke by Michael Che.
Israel is reporting that they vaccinated half of their population, and I'm going to guess it's the Jewish half.
That's outrageous. That's so outrageous. In fact, I brought vaccines and went especially to the Arab communities, the Arab citizens of Israel, and vaccinated as many as we can. I must have gone to half a dozen Arab communities already, talked with the mayors there, brought the leaders, brought the doctors there, Arab doctors. This is just outrageous. It's so false. And the interesting thing is, you know, not accidentally, many Arab citizens are voting for me because not only because I brought vaccines for everyone, but because I brought peace for everyone.
Sure.
I brought 4 historic peace agreements that were helped by President Trump's peace teams.
I want to know whether you agree with what Benjamin Netanyahu flouted. I want to know whether you agree with what Mr. Netanyahu raised, and that was the annexation with the U.S. Approval of the West Bank settlements and parts of the West Bank. Is that something that you would do and carry out if you became Prime Minister?
Mr. Netanyahu, in the context of normalization with Arab countries, agreed to suspend the issue of sovereignty in his dialogue with the Trump administration. As a Prime Minister, I will respect previous commitments of an Israeli Prime Minister to the American administration.
Mr. Prime Minister, I know that you were close with President Trump. What's your relationship like with President Biden? He's been in office for 44 days.
Well, I've known Joe Biden not for 44 days. I've known him for close to 40 years when I came in as the #2 in Israel's embassy in 1982, and he was a young senator from Delaware. So we've known each other, and we've had a warm relationship over the years. I think Joe Biden is a friend of Israel. I know he is. I know he's committed to Israel. But I also know that sometimes with the best of friends in the family, as we say, we can have differences of opinion. The most important thing that I think Joe Biden understands is that my commitment to prevent Iran from getting nuclear weapons is absolute. And I hope that we see eye to eye on everything. But one thing I believe he understands and respects is that as the Prime Minister of the one and only Jewish state, we're not going to let a bunch of Ayatollahs wipe us out from the face of the earth or from the map of history. So I will do everything in my power to prevent Iran from getting nuclear weapons. And so far, we've been successful.
Mr. Prime Minister, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck in the re-election. I know you're working hard already.
Thank you, and good luck, America.
Thank you. God bless you.
We need it.